أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره وأعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تبارك وتعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أعاذنا الله وإياكم من النار. إخوة الإكرام, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we remind ourselves and remind our elders, brothers and sisters about the most important thing in this life, that is to fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Usikum nafsi bi taqwallahi Azza wa Jal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He admonished the believers and every human being to fear Him. And those who are the believers, that's why in the Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always address the believers, because these are the people who matters to Him more than those who do not believe. That's why every ayah which is conveying warning and is conveying Bashiran wa Nadhira, the ayahs that convey good news to the believers, Bashiran wa Nadhira, and warning to the believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always He mentioned, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. And Ibn Abbas, he said, whenever you hear this word, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, you should be more attentive, because Allah is addressing the believers. It's either warning you against something that you should not indulge in, or is giving you good news about something that you should engage in for the benefit of this world and next. Because whatever we do as Muslims, we should know that whether good or bad has no effect with our Creator. If we do all the creation is doing good deed, will not increase his power, and it will not increase anything in his dominion. And if all disobey him, that will not also decrease anything in his dominion. So we should know everything we do is for our own good when it's a good deed. It all goes back to us. And if it is bad deed, then it goes against us. It has no effect with Allah Azza wa Jal. So he guides those whom he wills, and he allows those who go astray to go astray, and there is no one to guide. So we ask for Allah's guidance, which is the most important dua in the Quran. The scholars, they say, the Ummul Quran, that is Surah Al-Fatiha, he said the mother of the Quran is the mother of the Quran. Surah Al-Fatiha is the biggest surah in the Quran. And the scholars, they say, the biggest surah in the Quran has the biggest dua. And what's the biggest dua in the Quran? Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. So Muslims should always make sure this surah, we perfect its recitation. We do all our utmost because it is fard in our salah. For our salah to be accepted, the Fatiha number 1 has to be correct. The recitation has to be correct. The tajweed and the ahkam, we should do all what we can to improve this recitation. So the Quran is a challenge for the believers to continue reading and continue improving year in, year out. The scholars, they say we should have our own wird, like the portion that you pick for yourself daily. So the engagement of the believers with the Quran should be daily, because the Quran is sent for our guidance, and is sent also to take us from darkness to light. Min al-dhulumati ila an-nur. So this is a challenge for the believers to keep doing and keep improving our recitation in the Quran, and also to improve our families, our children, to make sure they are engaged with this Quran, because it is an amana to us as parents. The children we have is an amana. Everything we have in this world, Allah give it to us as an amana. Our wealth, our children, all our possessions. So how we handle them and we take care of them, or how we neglect them, our judgment will be based on that, Yawm al-Qiyamah. So our amana with our children is one of the most important amana for the believers. Let us invest in our children. You know, we are more particular about their, the curriculum. They go to schools, colleges, and universities. We are more particular about these things, because everybody is brainwashed in this world that without education, you won't be able to get your living or earn your living easily. We tend to forget that our risk is already written, before we are even born, before we come into this world, 50,000 years before before creation. Our risk is written. So whatever we do, we're gonna get our risk. But one regret we're gonna have for life is when our children grow up without learning this Quran. Because the education, whether you like it or not, in this country, they will have their education. So the responsibility lies with the parents, because the children, they come into this world with Tawheed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created every child who come into this world with the fitra of Tawheed. Fitrat Allahi allati fataron nasi alayha. That's every child. You come into this world with the oneness of Allah and the belief in Allah. So that's why the hadith of Rasulullah said, every child is born with this fitra. So the only thing that changes the child is how the parents handle his life, how we put them into different institutions, and we prioritize them. No, our priorities should be the Islam and the Quran. That should be our priority. And everything else is secondary. Everything else comes second. But the Quran is the priority for Muslims to engage our children in. When we establish this, we have fulfilled one of our Amaana with Allah. And the most important, because the Quran, as I mentioned, Yahdi ila surat mustaqim. It will guide you to the right path. So when we teach the children the Quran, they will be guided. The Quran will guide them. And it will take them from darkness to light. Min al-dhulumati ila nur. So the most part of our job is done. If you engage your children with the Quran from childhood, the most part of your job is done. You won't have to do more again. The rest will be taken care of by Allah because you are fulfilling the Amaana. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support you along the way. Because the Islam, for them to know this Islam and acquire this Iman is the most important blessing and the most important gift of a Muslim. When we lose this, even if we have the rest of the world and everything in it, without our Iman and Islam, will have no benefit for us in Akhirah. So the priority is engage our children with the Book of Allah. That will pave the way for them. And you will be surprised how smart these children are going to be after engaging with the Quran. And if you memorize this Quran, whatever you do, no matter how sophisticated it is, technology, whatever education, you'll always thrive ahead of your mates. So therefore, the priority for us as Muslims is the Quran. It will shape our life, tell us what to do, tell us how to behave with our parents, the children, and tell us how to behave with the rest of the human being. This Quran, that's why when Sahabas, they asked Aisha radiallahu anha about the character of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they went to her and asked, what is the character of Nabi? He said to them, when you see him, you see the Quran. Look at the Quran. Innahu khulquhul Quran. He has the character of the Quran. Because the Quran is full of teachings and character and how we shape our life. And when this teaching reach the heart of the children, it will keep them on the right path and they will grow up with this till their adolescence. And when they become adult, this will be shaping their life and guiding their life for the rest of their life. Whatever they engage in will always be a success. So the success they have is not only going to be in Akhirah, but it will begin from dunya. So we should not be brainwashed, and we should not think that if they don't they don't put priority in their education, the English curriculum, and all the rest of the educations and the institutions, they will not be succeeded. Allah didn't say that, because the risk is in the hands of Allah. And what the opportunity you have is to engage your children with the Quran, and the rest will become easy. Because the schools, these children will learn, and they will be even more fluent than us. You know how we speak our English. My children, sometimes when I speak, they keep rectifying me because sometimes I speak English and sometimes I'll mix up the words. But they will come and rectify me. They know the English better than me. So we should not be worried about their education. What we should be worried about, what Allah has made obligated on us, and the Amaana He has given us to put these children on the right path. Because Yom Al-Qiyam, no parent will pass, even if you have all the good deeds to go to Jannah, if your children were not put in the right path and you don't train them, they will come and stand before Allah. And they will tell Allah, He didn't put us on the right path. He cannot go to Jannah and leave us here. So that is in the Quran. The children will stand before Allah and testify against you as parents. Waqifuhu innahu mas'ulun. Because that's a responsibility on the parents. Therefore, it's important for us to remember this, because our most important amana for us is our families and our children. This is the immediate one for every person. As they say, always charity begins at home. If you are trying to put things right and put people right, it begins from your own home. If that is not right, whatever you do outside is not important, even if you guide the rest of the world. Because what's obligated on you, first and foremost, is your own family and children. So when we implement this thing and put the children on that path, this will be inculcated in their heart, and they will grow up with this. That's why there are a lot of challenges and a lot of things happening, and the children, when they go out, you don't know what they are going to engage in. And you can make things right at home. When they go out, other people who have not played anything in their life will change it. And you cannot do anything about it. Be it their school or their friends. We cannot do anything about it. So our responsibility with Allah, we prioritize that first. And Allah will make the rest easy. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. We thank Allah Azza wa Jal for His support and guidance. We Muslims, we should know that Allah Azza wa Jal, He is benevolent. He will give and give and give. In this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman. He will give the kuffar, He will give the believers, and He will give the non-believers, even the idolaters. They will all have things that Allah is going to give in this world. Wealth. Look at the non-believers, some of them, they are well-to-do in our eyes in this world. But for Muslims, we believe without Iman, they can carry the whole world, but they have nothing. But for them, they have everything. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not give Iman to anybody except those whom He loves. We should know this as believers. He can give everyone whatever they want. Even the kuffar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give wealth, children, everything that we wish in this world. Because the most important Allah mentioned in the Quran is children and wealth. These are what we desire more than anything else. So he will give this to the kuffar and many more, because this world doesn't matter to Allah. It has no nothing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intend to give good things for akhirah for those who disbelieve. But what is going to give them is only in this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, when this world matters to Allah azza wa jal, the kuffar and the non-believers will not even have a cup of water to drink. A cup of water to drink, he will not even give that to them. But because this world doesn't matter to Allah, so he will allow them to have everything, allow them to have their way, whatever they want, because this world doesn't matter to him. What matters to Allah is akhirah. So the believers should know this. But the iman, Allah will not give this iman, which is the most and the greatest blessing in this life. He will not give this iman except those whom he loves. So if you see yourself acquiring this iman, and you see yourself striving for good deeds and doing the best you can in this deen, you can have this hope. Not to be lazy for this hope. No, you can have this hope, because this Muslim life is al-khawf wa raja. You have the hope and you have the fear. The balance should be equal. Like the bird, when it's flying, the wings are equal, so it can fly as far as possible. But if one wing is broken, then it will not be able to fly. So this al-khawf wa raja should be equal in our ibadah, in our belief in Allah, in engaging in our good deeds. So this hope should guide the believer to always engage in righteous deeds. So I was talking about the children, to make sure the tawheed remain in their heart, because they come into this world with this tawheed. The effort that we play in their life will maintain this tawheed in their life, and they believe in Allah and His Rasul, to also to follow His footsteps. They will grow with this, and nothing else will remove this. When this is implemented in their life from early age, that nothing will remove this from there. That's why the ayah mentioned, وَمَنْ يَغْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ. When you clear all the things that can bring difficulty and that can bring kufr and sins into the heart of the child, and implement this iman, then فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى. This iman will be enough to guide the child to the eternal life, and it will be a success for the child in this dunya and the akhirah. Because this qalb that we have is the most important thing. Where Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, inna fil jasadi mudghah, idha salahat salaha al jasad kullu, wa idha fasadat fasada al jasad kullu, ala wa hiya al qalb. He said, in the body of the human being, there is a piece of flesh. When this piece of flesh is good, everything about the life of this human being will be good. But if this is corrupt, everything in the life of the human being will be corrupt. So this important piece, we need to look after this. How to purify this soul, how to maintain it, and help the children to keep this soul clean with tawheed. That's why the whole surah was revealed, how to purify this heart, the qalb. Surah Ash-Shams, As-Samsu wa Duhaha, wal Qamari idha talaha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swore in this surah 11 times. He swore in this surah 11 times just for the purification of this piece of flesh. والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها. What is next? قد أفلح من زكاها. The successful is the one who purifies his soul. The one who purifies this piece of flesh is the one who is successful. قد أفلح من زكاها. So that's why Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if this piece of flesh is good, everything about this person will be good. So let us keep this piece of flesh good. And this piece of flesh is what matters to Allah as well. Because Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he mentioned that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will not look, he doesn't look at our self, our build, or what we have, our wealth. No. Inna Allah la yanzuru ila suwarikum wa amwalikum walakin yanzuru ila qulubikum wa a'malikum. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, he only look at what you did, your deeds, and what's in your heart, the intentions, the ikhlas. This is what Allah looks at. Before doing any deed, the ikhlas should be there, purposely for Allah alone. He doesn't look at your figures. How beautiful you are, it doesn't matter to Allah. How tall you are, it doesn't matter to Allah. How short the person is, it doesn't matter to Allah. How built or strong the person is, that doesn't matter to Allah at all. Your figures, he doesn't look at it. Or what you have, your wealth, he doesn't look at it at all. What Allah looks at is the purification of this heart, this piece of flesh, how pure that is for Allah. And also, the next one is the good deeds, the amal. These are the two things Allah looks at in human being. As long as we keep these things right, we will be successful in this life and next. That's why the hadith mentioned, وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرْ إِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. The only what Allah looks at is the purification of our heart and also the purification of our deed, how pure our deed is and how pure our heart is. These are what matters to Allah. So these children, when we treat them the Islamic teachings and give them the Islamic guidance, the guidance belongs to Allah. We do our best in their life, they will be guided. And Allah will help us. We make dua for them as well, and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep them on the right path and the rest of the ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on the right path and keep us understanding this deen and improve our knowledge in the deen and our understanding in the deen. Allahumma faqihu fi din wa allimhu ta'wil. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wa anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna 'ilma. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. اللهم يا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.